Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Barbecue, Bourbon and Business podcast show. My name is Helena, and joining me is my very good friend and business partner, Luke. Hi, Luke.
Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you back. Please grab your drink, sit down in your comfy chair, and please enjoy the show.
So, building a business should be fun. So, in between sampling some good bourbon and sharing a few backyard barbecue tips, we'll be sharing practical, no-nonsense strategies to help you stop trading time for money, turn your business into a valuable asset, and build a smart business that gives you the time and freedom to enjoy the things that you love, like sipping on good bourbon. I'm just going to take a sip of mine. And a low and slow barbecue with friends and family. So if this sounds like you, welcome. Please pour yourself a drink and get comfy. Let's get to know each other and enjoy this ride together. I'm sure we are going to get on just fine. In the last episode, we discussed financial freedom, how close you really are, and how being financially free is not always dependent on how much money you have in the bank. And in this episode, we're going to cover the last lesson in obtaining these 3 Fs. So the 3 Fs of time freedom, money freedom, and mind freedom. We are going to be chatting about the differences between being self-employed and being a business owner. So you may be shocked, but there really is a difference. But before we begin, let's do our favorite part of the night and talk about our bourbon. Our featured bourbon has been all month, Buffalo Trace. Luke, do you have yours?
Sure do, little lady.
Did you know that Buffalo Trace is one of the oldest continual operating distilleries in the US? It's a fun little fact.
But I'll pretend I do because I'm meant to be a bourbon specialist on the show. So of course I did, darling.
So the reason it's the most continually operating one is that it was still operating during the Prohibition. So they had a special license to make bourbon or whiskey for medicinal purposes. And back then, there must have been a lot of sick people back then. So that's a little fun fact for you to share at your next barbecue and impress your friends with when you're sipping on some Buffalo Trace. All right. So now, Luke, we talk to business owners all day, every day, and many of them will be surprised to hear that even after several years in business, they are not actually business owners at all. They are simply just self-employed. So this is what this episode is all about. How do you go about building the business the right way and get your business working for you so that you're not setting yourself up for failure and you are in fact a business owner, not someone who's just running around for your business yourself. Shall we get into it, Luke?
That's right. So look, this is lesson 3 of the 3 Fs, the freedoms that you've mentioned, that we've mentioned over the last few episodes. And so lesson 3 is this: are you building your business the right way, or are you setting yourself up for failure but just don't know it? So if you are a business owner, I would like you to flash back now to when you were excited about launching your business, or when you first bought your first business, or whatever, when you're starting out. And I want you to reflect back as to why you wanted to go into business for yourself. And I want you to recollect, and would they go something along these lines? Now, Helena, I'd love to hear people's thoughts about this. Where can they post the reasons why they went into business, that excitement? Where can they post us and tell us?
Yeah, we want to share, like we said in the very first episode, this is a community and we want to get to know you guys as well. So please hop onto our Facebook or Instagram at Barbecue Bourbon and Business and leave us a comment there. We'd love to know why you got into business. We want to get to know you guys as well, as the same time you guys are getting to know us, which is what this show is all about. So hop onto our Facebook and Instagram at Barbecue Bourbon Business.
And we're talking about the excitement when you first started out, right? This is very important for this episode. So reflect back and see if this sounds familiar as I read out some ideas for you. Did you go into business so that you can be your own boss and make your own decisions? So that you can choose your own hours and go on holiday whenever you want? So you can be financially better off? So you can control your own destiny? So you can buy your own house? Not the bank. Sorry, you can own your own house, not the bank. So that you can be rich and buy expensive stuff. So you can have more time to do the things that you love in life. so that you can make enough money to do the things that you love in life, so that you never have to worry about money, so that you can make enough money to help your family out or loved ones out, so that you can have enough money to retire on. Any of those sound familiar? Maybe you got your other reasons. Please let us know. It's really important. So we all went into business to create a lifestyle of our choice, whatever that means to each of us personally.
We covered a lot of these points in our first episode, and how the reason for going into business is different for everyone, but essentially we are all striving for the same thing. If you haven't listened to our first episode, I really encourage you to, because it is quite eye-opening. But Luke, I guess not everyone reaches that goal of freedom and why they got into business, do they?
Correct. So, 100%. So here's the reality for most business owners. Let me paint a picture. So it's Friday afternoon, and the staff are heading off to the pub for drinks. They leave all their worries on their desks and pick them up again on Monday morning. They are laughing, smiling, and looking forward to their relaxing weekend with their friends and family. And the reason they are smiling and laughing is because they know their weekly wages will be paid into their bank account, and their superannuation is building up nicely so they can retire with their little nest egg. And then there's you, the boss, the person who invested their life savings, time, blood, and sweat into creating this infrastructure you call a business. And it's been another grueling week. Another 70 hours clocked up, fighting fires in the trenches, filling in for sick staff, blotch, job repairs, customer complaints, production delays, just the usual. You have managed to pay wages this week. Suppliers are drip-fed lifelines to keep the wheels turning. You're working 3 times as hard as your staff, and you're taking home 3 times less. That's this week, the same though it's been for the last 5 or 10 years. And you have next week to look forward to. You are in trouble at home because you're always working. The kids never see you. And when you're at home, your mind is not. Your worries make sure of that. You miss important dates and occasions because you have critical deadlines. Deadlines to ensure you're generating cash flow to keep your business afloat. And you know, if you stop, the engine comes to a grinding halt and you risk losing everything. Now, how's that going to go down? Will you get sympathy, or I told you so, and you come home to an empty house? You're in an ever-expanding pressure chamber with no release valve. You are exhausted because you have not had a family holiday or a mental release in years. You'd love to go to the gym, get your health back on track, but time is not your friend. And the bragging rights, I own my own business, or the school parents' evening comments, wow, they must be loaded, they own their own business, doesn't quite have the appeal it did when you first began. Now, does this sound familiar?
You're right. And I think a lot of business owners get trapped in this cycle and they don't see a way to get out. They're just scrambling day after day, putting out fires, like you said, and all they know is that they just have to keep going and hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but usually there isn't. But we've heard your story before, Luke, and do you think that it was like this for you when you were running your business, like before you lost it all? Was this the same thing you were going through?
Well, for sure. So just like me and my first business, many business owners land up exactly like this because they went about building their business the wrong way. They created a job for themselves, not a vehicle to build an asset for life. I mean, like I said, this was me and my first business. I was clueless. I didn't know what I was doing all the wrong things, and I paid the price, which ultimately many business owners do. And so this is the purpose of our podcast, right? To protect business owners and help them enjoy bourbons and jokes like we do. You know, we pretend we know what we're talking about with bourbons and barbecue, as long as it's fun for everyone. You want to cherish the things in life and build a business that allows you to do that and create memories. And so the third critical lesson I learned from my $12 million mistake was understanding this, the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. My first business, I built the wrong way. It was totally dependent on us running it. And the more we grew, the more it pulled us apart. It didn't matter how hard we worked and we tried to fix things. We could never break the cycle of cash flow struggles and stress overload. So eventually this business just consumed us, and we burnt out, collapsed under the pressure, and lost everything we worked so hard for. We walked away with nothing. It was 5 years of our lives wiped out. Now, Helena you mentioned this, the last episode where it was, as much of a catastrophe this was for me. I was a kid. I was able to sweep this under the rug and rebuild my life. If you're in your late years retiring, and you make a catastrophe, like a mistake like this, you can't come right. This is the thing I'm trying to take. This is a disaster, right? But most people build their whole lives. They're basically building their business on top of a volcano, just waiting for the thing to explode. And so this was an experience of my life, losing my entire business. That honestly, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies. And so I think you've heard the saying, though, that steel is forged by putting iron through the fires of hell. And so luckily I was a kid, and it took me 7 years to regain my confidence and give business another go, because deep down I just knew I had to try again in my life. I was petrified because of the disaster, but eventually I summoned the courage and I tried again. But I took these painful lessons and figured out, where do we go so wrong as kids? How could I make things smarter and easier? How could I make sure I never fail again? And most importantly, how do I build a business that is optimized, that grows independently of me? And how does it become a valuable asset that sets me up for life? All the things my first business was supposed to have given me. And I found that most businesses make, the same common everyday mistakes I did when I first started out. They go about building their businesses the wrong way. And this is what they do. They don't do tasks in their businesses to set themselves up for the future. They do tasks to get themselves through the day. They work to make profits today, not create wealth for their future. So the self-employed businesses held very little value because the businesses are dependent on the owners running them. Now, in contrast, the business owners' businesses were not dependent on them. Their systems ran their business, generating profits consistently. Their businesses therefore held significantly greater values. Now, everyone in business who has taken risks and made sacrifices along the way deserves a good outcome. So, you as business owners out there, ask yourself this: what are you doing right now in your business? Is it setting you up for your future? And if your business is built so you have to go to work every day and it stops making money because you get sick or you have a holiday, then what you have is not a business, it's a job. You're self-employed. In many instances, you're better off with a job in your area of expertise than paying, what you pay yourself, which sometimes is less than what the lowest staff member earns. That's what happens for many business owners. You take what's left in the can at the end of the month. Hopefully there's something left. Sometimes there's nothing left. If you've been building a business this way and you find yourself in a similar position, there is hope. And I would encourage you to stick with us a bit longer and enjoy the show, because I share all my lessons of life, of building businesses across 3 countries, many businesses. I've made a lot of cock-ups along the way, trust me, but I've also done some really cool things. And so when your business is at the point where it can generate wealth without you working it, it becomes an asset. And when you build an asset, you can one day cash out for maximum profits. This allows you to set yourself up for life. This is about learning to build your business the right way, so that it eventually does become an asset for you. You eventually become a business owner in the true sense. So build your business to create a life worth living, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones to cherish and enjoy as well. And it can be done. So build your business to allow you freedom. Freedom to create memories so that one day when the sun sets on your life, you can look back with a smile and rest easy knowing that the choices you made these memories possible. And for me, and I think I speak for Helena too, and I think I actually speak for many, many business owners out there once they realize all the confusion and madness. Building a business this way with this outcome is far more important than a Ferrari, a helicopter, and oversized mansions. And the cool thing is if you build your business the right way with the right outcomes, you're creating memories while you're building your business, because your business is designed to allow you to do this. And it increases in value without you being strapped to it. And for me, this is success and why you should be building your business. This should be your business goal. And this should be the starting point. The starting point of this is deciding what outcome do you want your business to achieve for you. Now, the next natural question, that's great. Thank you very much. Pleasure. How do you actually go about doing this? How do you build your business? How do you transform your business so that you release the straps? Think about this, right? You go to work every day and you spend the same amount of time, effort, sweat, stress, whatever, building a business. Don't you want to rather take that time? It's the same amount of time. But at the end of the journey, you have something valuable that you can cash out on. And during that journey, you want to have the time to create these memories. This is what we're talking about. Now, how do you do this? Well, in the next episode, in the next few episodes, I'm going to show you the 7 steps that I've used to build businesses across 3 countries in many, many industries very successfully. And the secret is in the sequencing. So in the upcoming episodes, we'll reveal these 7 steps of how you build a smart business engine to give you the 3 F's that we've been discussing in the last few episodes.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned still creating a business while creating memories. So I really do, and this is what this podcast is all about, right? Still enjoying building your business, and it might not be to cash out. It might be to take a step back, to be able to, like we've been talking about in all the previous episodes, to have, that time freedom to be able to really enjoy the things you love, and taking a step back. So we discussed this in the previous episodes. So this should be the reason why you are building your business. This should be your goal, not just to have, the fancy cars, the fancy clothes. And if you've stuck through us with these last couple of episodes, I really do hope you feel the same way, because we are going to be delving deep into these 7 steps to build your smart business engine. So thank you for sharing your time with me, Luke, and thank you for sharing a drink with us, everyone. And I really do hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for joining us on it. I hope you take the time to reflect what stage you are at this very moment as a business owner. Are you simply self-employed, or are you a true business owner? And I'm really looking forward to this next episode. It really is a big treat. So I know personally how the 7-step smart business engine has just transformed so many businesses, and we look forward to sharing them with you. So by the way, if you want to see us live and see how fancy our bar setups are for the podcast, hop onto our YouTube channel, Barbecue, Bourbon and Business Podcast Show, to check us out. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. And to make sure you don't miss out on any new episodes, don't forget to subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you prefer to listen to your podcast. So cheers, everyone. Cheers, Luke.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.